Hey YouTube, it's Wendy here, and let me see if I can cannot zoom in or out in this mode. You know, this is really frustrating. I don't know why the camera won't let me. Anyway, I am going to do some resin doming here for a second, and I thought I might just go ahead and film it so y'all can see how that I dome my resin. I made some keychains. That's what these are going to be, are keychains. Let me get some light on in this room. There we go. And when they come out of the mold, they have kind of sharp little lips on them. So I need to dome them with resin, and I just pour some regular resin, mix up some regular resin, and you just pour it on top, and it makes like a smooth finish. So I am going to try to show you that if I can get this to work. I was hoping it would let me zoom in and out, but it won't, which is really annoying. Okay, so, all right, let's give it a try. So I've mixed up my resin. I use Amazing Clear Cast, and the only reason I'm using this is because I got it on sale at Hobby Lobby, but really any resin works. I don't have a specific type. I mix it equal parts in just a little plastic cup. And I think I've got this one mixed up pretty good. You're supposed to mix it until you can't see any cloudiness. And it does look cloudy to me. I don't know why, but it doesn't look real clear yet. It may just be bubbles because I was mixing it kind of fast. So, all right. I think it's good. So what I do is on the pieces that need to be domed, and that one is not. So this is MU for Marshall University. We've got some UK keychains, and then this 32 I'm making for somebody who has kids that play sports. And I may pour some mermaid tails if I have some left over. But what you do when you're doming is you want to put the resin right on top, and you want it to you're just trying to get it to get rid of these sharp edges. Now I could sand these down, but I don't really like to do that. It's a lot of extra work. It's so much easier just to dome them. So what I'm gonna do, let me get one up here. Okay, I use a popsicle stick to mix mine, and I take it and I just drip some in the middle like this. And I just let it sit there. And then I go on to the next one. Not a whole lot, just enough to make a little pile or puddle, whatever you want to say, in the middle, because it will spread itself out, and hopefully it will go to the edges and not go over. That's the plan. That's what you want to happen. It doesn't always happen that way. If it does go over, then you have to get into where you do some sanding and stuff, and I hate to sand resin. So I'm just dripping some on each little piece. And like I said, you just do it in the middle at first, and I do all of them at first. I drip a little bit on each one and just let it spread itself out. But you want to make sure you do it in the very middle. Sorry if my hand's in the way. I'm just trying to, this is kind of delicate work a little bit. And I always put something down on the surface because I'm messy with this stuff. It gets everywhere. But so the main thing that you want to do is just not drip too much, and try to drip it just in the middle and not on the sides. Now I'm getting a little carried away here. It's getting crazy. Okay. And if you do it right, you're gonna make, oh, see that one over the side. I'm trying to hurry a little bit because Chris went to get some breakfast, and I know he's going to be back in a minute. So I just wanted to do this really quick before he gets back. So that's all you do. You just drop it in the middle. You don't make a mess like I am. And then I'll show you here in just a second. I'm almost done. Got two more. Okay, so when I get a little bit poured in the middle of each Then I'm gonna take it and I'm just gonna kind of baby it. This is a terrible shirt to be wearing for this project. Okay, I'm gonna baby it a little. I'm just gonna take the popsicle stick. I'm going to push it to the corners gently. And what you're wanting is you want it to meet up to the corners, to the edges. Very, very, well, you can't see what I'm doing. Let me move this guy. Okay, you want it to meet up to the edges. Let me just do this one since it's on the screen. And I just take the popsicle stick and just gently push it to the edges. And then if you need any more, you can put a little bit more in. But be very careful because you really do not want it to go over the sides. And then I just very, very gently press it toward the edges with the popsicle stick. Okay, now this one looks pretty good. It looks like it's touching all the edges, and sometimes you have to get down on the edge of the table and kind of look that way, but okay, so when I get it to where it's touching all the edges, then I'm going to take a lighter. I'm going to go over it to get the bubbles out. And you'll need to do this with the lighter 2 or 3 times because the bubbles float to the surface. So let's look at this guy. He looks pretty good. Yeah, you just want to make sure that the resin spreads completely out and gets on the edges of your piece, all the way to the edges of your piece. But it is a gentle little process. I mean, you cannot rush it. So that is how you dome. That's how I dome. I don't know, other people probably have better ways. Some people use this thick like coating kind of stuff. I can't remember the name of it. I had some and I never could do a single thing with it. It was miserable. Gosh, I wish I could remember the name of it. I can't. I'll have to remember and put it in the comments or something. But triple thick, that's it. It's called triple thick. I could never get that stuff to work. It was like, it was truly what it said. It was triple thick and it went everywhere, and it had brush strokes in it. If I tried to brush it on, it didn't just flow like resin does. Yeah, it was miserable. So I just went back to doming with my resin, just like this. It's a tedious, slow little process, but once you get it done, your pieces look really nice. They're shiny. They, you know, well, I've already done that one like 3 times. They're shiny and they look professional, and you don't have to do a lot of sanding. You may have to do just a little touch-up sanding, but it's way easier, I think, to dome it than it is to go in and try to sand everything down. So this is how I do it. I do it, mix up my resin, take a popsicle stick, pour some in the middle, and then just go back and touch it up. Make sure that it has spread to all the edges of each piece, and then I take the lighter to it and make sure there's no bubbles. This one I didn't get very much on, so it needs a lot of it. And it will dome up. That's why it's called doming. I mean, it's going to dome up, but the resin has properties in it that allow it to stop at the edges if you don't put too much and you're kind of careful. So it shouldn't go over. I mean, you shouldn't have trouble with it running over unless you just get really carried away and put way too much resin. But it's just a tedious, little careful process. And if they touch each other, you have problems too. Because if this one's touching that one, then the resin might flow over. You want them separated, not touching each other. So that is the process that I use for doming resin. Resin pieces. It's simple, but it just is a little time consuming and you have to be really careful. That one, it fell over the side. It was my fault. I was not being careful. And my resin went right over the side. So what'll happen with this guy is he'll have a little bit on the back, but I put these down on these silicone. You can get these little silicone mats at the Dollar Tree. they're perfect for doing resin on because it won't stick to them terribly bad, so your pieces, if it does run over the side, it will come off. It'll come off the silicone mat pretty easily. So that one needed quite a bit more. And that's all I do. I mean, it's not hard. It's just you have to be so careful. And then when you're done, if it still has a little bit of a sharp lip on it, I'll tell you what I found. Dollar Tree has these nail file things. They are white and it's a block. It's like a rectangle block thing. It's not like a regular nail file, but I think they're used for like buffing and polishing nails, but they are perfect for sanding the edges of resin. I mean, absolutely perfect. So if there are little edges left or lips, you can also take scissors and trim them a little bit, but if you do need to sand, those Dollar Tree white blocks are absolutely perfect for sanding down tiny edges on your resin. And I would advise you, if you're going to do this, not to wear a shirt that has long drapey sleeves like I've got on. This was not the smartest idea. Okay, and then I had this little piece also. It's a tube. I poured resin in the bottom and put a little bit of blue alcohol ink, and then I put a turtle charm in it. And here's one that I've actually finished with a seahorse in it. And I couldn't find this one when I was finishing the rest of them, and somehow it got picked up and put in with some other stuff. So I'm just going to fill it up here with resin. I think I have enough extra resin that I can actually pour a couple mermaid tails too. I'm just going to put the resin in here. Gently and slowly, not as slowly as I should. I'm kind of rushing a little bit. You want it to fill all the way to the top and kind of even bubble up a little at the top. Okay. And I think all of my doming pieces look pretty good, so I'm going to take a lighter and go over all of these. You just take a lighter, you don't hold it in one place very long, you just kind of go over them quickly like this. Oh gosh. And they will catch on fire if you have little edges sticking up. So beware. It's not good if you catch your resin on fire. I've done that a lot. Okay, so you just go over. You're just getting the bubbles out of the clear stuff that you put on top. If they're colored in the background, I mean, it's not going to make a huge difference if there are some tiny bubbles, but I just like them to be perfectly clear if I can get them that way. And so I take the lighter over each and every one, just quickly. I mean, you don't want to sit it in one spot because, like I just showed you, you will catch your resin on fire. And that doesn't look good. I did a keychain one time. It was really cute. It was a mermaid and like a sea theme, and the edge of it caught on fire. And I couldn't get it out very quickly. And it was like burned looking. I mean, it had like this burnt look to it. Ooh, see? Yeah, resin is flammable. You kind of have to be careful. There's probably a better way, but I got one of those lighters that chefs use to light their creme brulee and stuff, and that is way too powerful, and it like scorches the edge. It like makes a crispy coating on top of your resin. Someone I'd seen on YouTube had been using one, but yeah, it didn't work too good for me. All right, so you just go over each one. Make sure you got your bubbles out. Okay, now let me scoot these to the side if I can. And I'm going to pour a couple of these mermaid tails. So let me see here what color I want to use for these. Mermaid tails, you can put anything in them. You can put glitter, you can put pretty much anything. I'm thinking I might use some white glitter to start with. I don't want to really have to mix any more cups of resin. So let me use this iridescent glitter. I'm going to put quite a bit in. Mix it up in here. We're gonna make some iridescent mermaid tails, and then I'll add a little color to this for the tips or something. Okay, and then I'm just gonna pour this out into my mold like this. I'm gonna fill the bottom of each mold first. A little bit. I am being so messy. I'm normally not this messy with resin, but I'm trying to hurry because I know Chris will be back here anytime. Okay. That one's gonna like way flow over. Let's just do this. Okay. All right, so put a little clear in there, clear glitter, and then I'm gonna mix a color in with it. Let's see. What do I have a lot of beads? I've got some turquoise beads. I might do some turquoise pearlex powder. Would be pretty. I've got a lot of yellow and orange too, though. I'll do some turquoise pearlex powder here. So dump a little in there. That's going to color this a beautiful turquoise color. Okay, and I'm going to just fill in the edges of it. Oh crap. Okay. Sorry. I'm just filling in the edges of this. And then I'm going to pour some in here just to kind of give it a little more body because it's not full enough there. Okay. Alright. And then we'll take some here. I've got resin all over the counter here. I'm going to have to clean that off. Oh, Chris is back. I hear him. Alright guys, well that'll be the end of this video. I'm just going to finish pouring these in, clean up my mess, and go have breakfast. Y'all have a great weekend. Thanks for watching.